October the 14th, 1844. My very dear Macready, my whole heart is with you at home. I have not yet felt so far off as I do now, when I think of you there and cannot fold you in my arms. This is only a shake of the hand. I couldn't say much to you if I were home to greet you, nor can I write much when I think of you, safe and sound and happy, after all your wanderings. My dear fellow, God bless you 20,000 times. Happiness and joy be with you. I hope to see you soon. If I should be so unfortunate as to miss you in London, I will fall upon you with a swoop of love in Paris. Kate says all kind things in the language and means more than are in the dictionary capacity of all the descendants of all the stonemasons that worked at Babel. Again and again and again, my own true friend, God bless you. Ever yours affectionately, Charles Dickens. So that is from this gorgeous, gorgeous book, which is very battered, but is a bit of a keepsake in our family. The Letters of Charles Dickens from 1833 to 1856. It is typical of Oxford, I said, to start the new year in autumn. Everywhere on cobble and gravel and lawn, the leaves were falling, and in the college gardens, the smoke of the bonfires joined the wet river mist, drifting across the grey walls. The flags were oily underfoot, and as, one by one, the lamps were lit in the windows round the quad, the golden lights were diffuse and remote. New figures in new gowns wandered through the twilight, under the arches, and the familiar bells now spoke of a year's memories. The autumnal mood possessed us both, as though the riotous of June had died with the gillyflowers, whose scent at my windows now yielded to the damp leaves, smouldering in a corner of the quad. It was the first Sunday evening of term. I feel precisely 100 years old, says Sebastian. He had come up the night before, a day earlier than I, and this was our first meeting since we parted in the taxi. I've had a talking to from Mr. Bell this afternoon. That makes the fourth since I came up. My tutor, the junior dean, Mr. Samgrass of All Souls, and now Major Bell. Who is Mr. Samgrass of All Souls? Oh, just someone of Mummy's. They all say that I made a very bad start last year, that I have been noticed, and that if I don't mend my ways, I shall get sent down. How does one mend one's ways? I suppose one joins the League of Nations Union and reads the ISIS every week and drinks coffee in the morning at the cafe and smokes a great pipe and plays hockey and goes out to tea on Boars Hill and to lectures at Kebble and rides a bicycle with a little tray full of notebooks and drinks cocoa in the evening and discusses sex seriously. Charles, what has happened since last term? I feel so old. I feel middle-aged. That is infinitely worse. I believe we have had all the fun we can expect here. We sat silent in the firelight as darkness fell. Anthony Blanche has gone down. Why? He wrote to me. Apparently he's taken a flat in Munich. He has formed an attachment to a policeman there. I shall miss him. I suppose I shall too, in a way. We fell silent again and sat so still in the firelight that a man who came in to see me stood for a moment in the door and then went away thinking the room empty. This is no way to start a new year, says Sebastian, for this sombre October evening seemed to breathe its chill, moist air over the succeeding weeks. All that term and all that year, Sebastian and I lived more and more in the shadows, like a fetish, hidden first from the missionary and at length forgotten. The toy bear, Aloysius, sat unregarded on the chest of drawers in Sebastian's bedroom. There was a change in both of us. We had lost the sense of discovery which had infused the anarchy of the first year. I began to settle down. That is from Brideshead Revisited, which is one of my favourite books and favourite TV series. It's one of the best adaptations of a book I've ever seen. So read it and go watch it. And apologies to Aloysius the teddy bear because he is greatly loved. Sunday the 17th of October 1943. Dearest Kitty, Mr. Clayman is back, thank goodness. He looks a bit pale, and yet he cheerfully set off to sell some clothes for Mr. Van Daan. The disagreeable fact is that Mr. Van Daan has run out of money. He lost his last 100 guilders in the warehouse, which is still creating trouble for us. The men are wondering how 100 guilders could land up in the warehouse on a Monday morning. Suspicion abounds. Meanwhile, the 100 guilders have been stolen. Who's the thief? But I was talking about the money shortage. Mrs. Van D has piles of dresses, coats and shoes, none of which she feels she can do without. Mr. Van D's suit is difficult to shift, and Peter's bike was up for sale but is back again since nobody wanted it. But the story doesn't end there. You see, Mrs. Van D is going to have to part with her fur coat. In her opinion, the firm should pay for our upkeep, but that's ridiculous. They just had a flaming row about it and have entered the "oh, my sweet putty" and "darling curly" stage of reconciliation. My mind boggles at the profanity this honourable house has had to endure in the past month. Father walks around with his lips pressed together, and whenever he hears his name he looks up in alarm, as if he's afraid he'll be called upon to resolve another delicate problem. Mother's so overwrought her cheeks are blotched with red. Margot complains of headaches. Dussel can't sleep. Mrs. Van D frets and fumes all day long, and I've gone completely round the bend. To tell you the truth, I sometimes forget who we're at odds with and who we're not. The only way to take my mind off it is to study, and I've been doing a lot of that lately. Yours, Anne. That's from, of course, The Diary of Anne Frank, which I think everybody should read.